Hello and welcome back. I'm DuckNuck84 and we are going to continue with our look at the French tanks and start looking at the Tier 2 tanks. Unfortunately, we're going to have to start with the D1. Probably one of the worst tanks, in my opinion, in the game. And also probably the tank that will cause most people to stop right on Tier 2 for the French tanks. It is all around not a very good tank. Main problems you'll find with the D1 is that it's slow, although it says it should be able to get 28 miles an hour. I've only really ever got that if I was going down a hill. On average, you're going to be lucky to get maybe 18 or 19. It has decent armor for a Tier 2 at 30 all around, and once you upgrade the turret to the top one here, it has 40 and 30 on the back, which isn't bad. However, the problem with the armor is that the front of both the turret and the tank here are riddled with little weak spots that are easy to penetrate, namely the viewports here, here, here. I think the machine gun port one is here. You have a viewport here, viewport there, and viewport there. And of course always the hatch is also the weak spot on the back. So most people will be aiming for those spots there and they will be easy to penetrate. Other problem is that the tank has a pretty poor selection of guns available to it. As you'll see right here, you have the same three options you had with the Renault, and while these were workable with a Tier 1 to Tier 2 match, they start to see their limitations, since when you play the D1, you'll start getting into matches with a Tier 3 tanks. And most, as you can see right here, penetration 23, 29. You can still work with the 25mm cannon, but once again, you're limited to the 400 meter range. So couple that with the bad speed, you're not going to be able to get close up without taking some hits. Other problems with the tank, like I said, poor speed, bad turret, maybe also just because it's ugly. But when you do upgrade to the second turret, make sure you upgrade the engine first, otherwise your tank's slow performance will be even slower. But other bad things, it has a pretty bad signal range. You have, I think this was the one that carries over from the Renault, and the next radio only gives you about 60 meters of signal strength more, which isn't very good. This tank also, although it's considered the start of the heavy line and it plays kind of like a heavy, it's not a true heavy, being it's still considered a light tank. And even with its armor here, most Tier 2 guns can still penetrate it, so although you can take a few hits, it will not, survive most Tier 3 tanks. So, we're going to look at two guns that have changed slightly. Where actually you have the one new gun, the 47mm, right here, which is also one of the worst guns in the game. Because, look, see, it has a penetration of 25, which is even less than your standard cannon that you start the game with. And the Hotchkiss, because there was a slight change to the Hotchkiss with upgrading to the D1. Another option, if you do decide to play this and don't want to play the 47mm cannon there, since, like I said, it's a pretty bad gun, you can play with the D1 starter turret, which is basically the same turret you had on the Renault. Although the armor is weaker and you will pretty much, everything will penetrate the turret, the idea behind playing this is because it is a smaller target than the, second turret, that at distances it is a little harder hit. Also, it doesn't have the weak spots of the viewports on the sides and the front. So that is an option you can do, but I usually just play with the top turret because either way you're going to, pretty much be screwed in this tank. If you can, this is probably the only French tank I would say to, free XP out of if you want. I mean, you could still kind of have some fun with it, but you'll be frustrated for the most part. Because this tank also, besides for being bad, really how you play it depends on where you ranked in the match. If you're ranked up towards the top of the match, you can play it as the heavy that it wants to be, where most of the tier 1 tanks will have trouble penetrating your armor, and although some of the tier 2 will, some of the other ones with most of the autocans might have trouble as well. If you're in the mid tier of the match, you kind of have to, I've found, play it as a defensive tank where you stay close to the base, pick off any stragglers that try to rush into the base, and take out scout tanks, which usually have, although fast, are poorly armored and sometimes have mediocre guns as well. So your armor can play a part there. However, if you get into a match with tier 3s, which will usually put you at the bottom of the ranking for the tanks, you are pretty much useless. I mean, you can still do some damage, but that's really only if you have the 25mm equipped, because that still has a penetration of 46, which will be able to do some damage to tier 3 tanks. However, most of that will only happen if you can shoot them in their weak spot. So you should try to pick out weak spots when you shoot, which are usually the viewports, machine gun ports, little cupolas right up there, treads, or any hatches that you can see, or if you can shoot them from the back. Because other than that, most of your shots are going to bounce. And then, of course, again, with 25, you're limited to medium range at 400 meters. So, although this is probably the best option to play with if you want to grind some XP out with that, there are some options you can do with this, which I will be showing you. And like I said, we're going to start off with the Hotchkiss since there was a slight change here. Another thing to be worried about is if you do have the Hotchkiss, if you get into a tier 3 match, again, you're not going to be able to do anything because the penetration is so minuscule that not even shooting a tank in the back most of the time you'll be able to do any damage, especially if it's another D2, a Hotchkiss, or a 38T for the Germans. So let's get this ugly beast into battle and see where we rank on the first map here. Himseldorf, which is not bad for Hotchkiss, although as you see I'm at the bottom, so there's going to be a lot of tier 3 tanks, so I'm going to have a lot of problems here. Pretty much, I think I'm going to be limited to doing a either base defense, or I'm going to try to be a moving wall for the other tanks, although I usually am not able to do that very well. But what I was going to show you with the Hotchkiss is that, unlike the Renault, where you only had 3 bursts, you now have 6. So, if you do find a tank that you are able to damage, move out. You can pretty much almost kill them or get them down pretty far with a complete 6-shot burst if all your shots are able to hit and penetrate. Other problem with this tank is that your worst enemies are going to be artillery. Fast tanks, like I said, even though you can damage them, they're going to be able to just circle around you because of your poor turning and turret speed here, as you can see, as well as anti-tank guns, because they will pretty much be able to hit that guy there, one-shot you from the front. So positioning your tank is key in most of these matches. I'm going to see if I can move up here and at least forestall these guys here from moving up. Shot there.
Ricochet, we just dinged him. Ricochet.
Ah, look at that. That was all 6 of those and not a single point of damage. Other problem though is although you get 6 bursts on it, it does take longer to load. So you take that into consideration. I'll go up here and act as support because that's pretty much all I can do at this point. Got any shots here? Nope, nothing's out there.
Ricochet.
Dear Lord, got nothing there.
Ricochet.
Ooh, got some damage there.
Critical hit.
Still not much. This tank is so slow. Like I said, it's flat ground, I'm only getting about 14, 15 km per hour.
Bounced off. We just dinged him. Bounced off.
Once again, no damage. Got nothing. Come on, load.
Bounced off. Ricochet.
See, the most I'm able to do is at least...
Track hit.
Getting shot from the back. Is distract, hopefully, some of the other team.
Ricochet. Bounced off. Bounced off.
Guard our
Ricochet.
tank here.
Ricochet. They killed our driver.
Damn, my driver's out.
We're covering his position, but now we're dead.
And I'm
Everyone
dead.
Get out.
So as you can see, as much as I like the Hotchkiss on the Renault, because you get into the Tier 3 matches, it is worthless in Tier 3 matches. And I'm not about to spend, hundreds of thousands of credits to buy gold rounds for it. Because even with those, it's still not great at this point. So because you get all 3 guns to carry over from the Renault and don't have to re-research them, this is one where I would say go with the 25mm from the start. This match is almost over. Nice shot there from Fire Trader. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to be dead. Missed shot there. And he's dead. Yeah, I mean, you'll see just how bad the stats were once I hit the, get over the details. So, I did hit these guys, but only had 2 penetration shots for 7 points of damage. That is terrible. I fired 150 shots, 52 hit, only 2 penetrated. Not good at all. Let's repair my guy here. Like I said, this is just not a very good tank. So we're going to look at the 47mm cannon next. And like I said, It's one of the worst penetrating guns in the game. Damage isn't great either. I mean, you only get 20 points above the standard cannon here for less penetration. The only good thing I can say about this gun is that the explosive shells only have a decrease in penetration of 1 point, so 18 to 30 versus the 19 to 31 of the standard. Usually with high explosive shells, you'll get, you know, I don't know what the percentage would be, but a pretty big drop in. Let me see, let's look at the 37 here. Standard 22 to 36 for the standard armored penetrating shells, whereas the high explosive have 14 to 23. So you get a big drop in penetration with the high explosive shells usually. But like I said, with the 47, that is only 1 point. So high explosive shells are actually pretty viable on this gun. However, like I said, because it has a poor overall penetration, you're still going to have trouble doing damage to other tanks. Tier 1 and Tier 2, you'll be able to do some damage. Tier 3, once again, you'll have some problems. But we're going to play this guy here, and of course also, like I said, can do gold rounds, which gives you 35 to 58, but 800 credits per shell, don't think so. Not at Tier 2. Let's see if I can do anything good. The other problem with the gun here is that it, instead of firing at a flat trajectory, it fires in an arc, and a slow arc at that. This actually might, could be a good match here. Upper part of the list there, so my armor's going to be able to help me some there, and this is a pretty good defensive map, so let's see what we can do. Although saying I can maybe do damage with this tank and help out is kind of like putting whipped cream on crap. It's still crap.
Time to roll out.
And slow crap at that. Let's see if I can get over to the town where I can hide behind the buildings and hopefully block the other team from going up the side of the hill here. You know, the other problem with this tank, and you'll find this is true with a lot of the French tanks, is that they have usually only 2 or 3 crew members, and with 2 crew members, if one gets knocked out, you're pretty much, you know, screwed, because that usually it's your commander who does pretty much everything in the tank other than drive. And, you know, you can heal him once with your med kit, but if he gets hit again, once again, you're pretty much screwed. Come on, get up the hill. Still only 7 km per hour. Oh, I made it to 10. You know, at lower matches, if you're playing with, you know, a company, or you platooned with someone, you can maybe do a mobile wall thing better, but in just playing by yourself with random matches, it's kind of hard. And once again, this tank suffers from pretty bad gun depression, although it's the worst if you use the 25 millimeter. We'll scoot up here. Let's see if I can hit him there. Slow load time and aiming. Ooh, got a hit there.
Critical hit.
Once again, got another hit. Didn't get him. Go up to this rock here. No shot. Luckily there's no artillery in this one, but I have to worry about that. This guy here. Oh crap, he's gonna get me.
Vision device is damaged. Visibility decreased. Critical hit.
Backing up.
Our main gun is damaged. It's working, but not very well.
Yep. It was never working very well to begin with. I'm dead. Look at that. Can't even in close range hit him.
We've lost the track.
Almost flipped my tank there.
We're done for.
And I'm
Everyone
dead.
Get out.
What can I say about this tank that I haven't already said? It's crap all around. Like I said, although I enjoy playing the French tanks, the D1 is not one of them. I mean, as you saw there, even at close range, I couldn't even hit anything. Part of that was probably me, but part of that, I think, is still the gun.
One of our tracks is damaged.
Yep, Sega's dead. Kind of like the company itself. Well, at least in the system manufacturing. Software, not so much, although can't think of the last good Sega game that came out. That wasn't a rehash of Sonic, and those weren't very good either. Add 4. We got some platoon guys in there? Yep. Got a couple of platoons there. This Hawk is going to be dead. Might be lucky and we might still win this match. We do still have a Hotchkiss up, which can be deadly if played right. Which we'll get into the Hotchkiss a little later. Don't even want to look at my tank. Down to 2. We got the British tank there at 100, so that's pretty good. Because although they have weak armor on the sides and rear, they can actually do pretty good damage with their autocannon type guns. Although I can't remember if that's the actual single shot cannon type gun or an autocannon for that. Don't know where those other guys are hiding up on the hill there. I would say they're probably in the town or on the ridge right over here. That's usually where most campers like to sit. And if they are, Red has a pretty good shot of them there, hopefully. Nope, coming down the hill. I don't know why 99's not in position yet. See, that's one thing you'll find with the T-17s is that they like to try to ram other tanks because they do have a lot of weight to them, so it can be viable to ram some of the lighter tanks. which is usually something most only Russian tanks do, but won't be seeing that with a D1 because you couldn't get the speed, you know, up to actually do a ram that would actually do any damage, or at least do any worthwhile damage. And they had one guy who's still sitting at base, so he was probably disconnected or a bot. So somehow we still won that match. Only got, did I get this one here? I did do some damage, but I think that was the damage from the collision that he did with me. 2 penetration shots, let's see. 11 shots, 3 hits, all 3 shots penetrated. So I did do some damage to him when I shot him. It was still a crap game for this tank, but once again, not much you can do on that. Just go one more match with this. Back in Himseldorf. And I'm at the bottom again. Great. Let's see. Point in train track, no point in trying to reposition. Not even going to try to go up the hill. So, I'm just going to get into the little area. I think I'm going to sit in one of the little burnt out buildings and try to shoot at anything coming down the road.
Move out!
But, once again, a lot of tier 3s, so probably not going to do much. Got people over there bunched up in Tank Alley. I'm going to try to sit right here. Whoa! I am so screwed now.
Track hit! Critical hit! Critical hit!
Oh, but he's not doing any damage to me, but
We just dinged him! Track hit!
you know, because your turret's so slow, you pretty much have to do.
Critical hit! The turret ring is damaged.
Oh,
we can
great.
barely turn it. Ricochet! Ricochet! Bail out! This vehicle is had it!
Well, that, like I said, that right there pretty much sums up the D1. Crap all around.